to welcome you all here at the inaugural ceremony of the 3 days International Conference on New Tourism Paradigms in a Changing World, Innovations, Dynamics and Future Perspectives.
I am really delighted to be here this morning for the inaugural function of this International Conference on New Tourism Paradigms in a Changing World, Innovations, Dynamics and Future Perspectives. I have always been interested in tourism and I never miss an opportunity to go to this place. Earlier I was very much interested, but now I am not so much interested. When I was a student and when I was younger, then I was really interested in tourism. But now when I go, it is more of a working trip rather than tourism.
It is therefore becomes very essential to organize such conferences and workshops to deliberate on different issues for the growth and development of tourism industry in India, and to discuss different issues for policy formulation favoring the growth, development of every type of industry, especially tourism industry. I wish him all the success to this international conference. Thank you very much.
The conference provides us an important opportunity to take stock of the trends and development in our tourism industry as we look ahead to new opportunities and seek to implement new initiatives. We must lend convincing support to the industry and focus our efforts in the key areas, each of which will be discussed by the different panels at this event. Friends, this is our first effort at holding a regular international conference, and I am extremely happy to note that we have a very positive response. We are having more than 150 papers.
It is indeed really a privilege to be a part of the many activities to commemorate the bicentenary celebrations of this eminent university. I noticed that the university already has a unique STEM center for education and research named after our distinguished late President Professor APJ Abdul Kalam. It is my fervent hope that this inaugural conference will also lead to the establishment of an equivalent center for travel and tourism studies in challenging times.
Tourism is really a dynamic subject, and that's the problem sometimes with the discipline. The historian says this is my discipline. The expert from geography says that this is my discipline. Whereas zoology, botany, commerce or whatnot. So finally in India, so far as academic discipline, tourism was considered during the late 80s. Of course things are changing when we talk about the tourism.
Education plays a vital role, of course, but to be only degree-centric. What is the problem with us? Our students, our educational institutions, they all are only first degree-centric, second job-oriented, and third, what we are always arguing about, that is how to connect, how to develop professional skills in our students so they will be able to match up with the industrial requirements.
So if the technology is advancing, the future is changing, it will definitely affect our lifestyle. If everything is going to be changed, then education also needs to be changed. Unfortunately, we keep on talking about the past. We never talk about the future. And this is where the challenge of education lies, especially in the field of travel and tourism. Because I believe this is one of the most dynamic professional course which is directly related to a earning, to a GDP.
So on a positive note, it brings in a huge opportunity to multiply a destination or an activity, the reach of the activity, but that's only if it is handled well. But on a negative front, it also poses a challenge for any negativity going viral million times faster than it ever did.
The second thing I'd like to see is, more improved communication of what you actually research. You'll have incubators of intellect. There's a phenomenal amount of intellectual horsepower in this place. You'll chart history. Many of you'll are futurists. You look at big pictures. You bring different perspectives in there. So it's a phenomenal ground of really good intellectual horsepower here. So I'd like you to see improved communications, which means if you're coming up with new policies, if you're coming up with new strategies, if you're coming up with new ideas, communicate it properly to the industry, to the policymakers, to the media. I mean, let them make it easy for them to make use of this information.
Every experience which is designed on the mantra of exploring the city's soul. It is important for a person to understand a city, and city is not all about a guided tour. It is all about local immersion and storytelling. Some of the experiences which are best selling across India for us is heritage walks, spiritual walks, gourmet, nightlife, bazaars and photography.
Heritage walks is something that makes history alive to students. And tourism is one platform that lets you bring that alive to many people. It's just not limited to the students, it goes around, it goes global.
Tradition, religion and spirituality. So the government needs to focus on these issues and come down to certain specific strategies which will give us immediate results. I personally believe, after reading so much and hearing such intellectuals on this board, that we are wasting our energies if we are trying to bring in something which we are not perceived as.
Practice only what you are very good at. Don't try other things which you have never seen into it, because artificially if you would create it, you would definitely dispel the idea of the tourism in totality.
Tourism is a big industry in terms of cents and dollars. Some countries like Maldives, Mauritius, Bali in Indonesia, in fact 70 to 80% of their revenue generation is through the tourism. If you take out the tourism, the country will be bigger.
What I believe is the purpose of life is the contentment. Contentment is like a state of mind where you feel happy and you feel connected to the Almighty.
I'm Mukesh. I teach Spanish in the faculty Department of Tourism. I'm a faculty there. Tomorrow when I read my paper, I'll throw more of the importance of Spanish, how and why we need in the current scenario, and why we need a special focus, a special coming out of the traditional and conventional way and coming up with a new kind of manual, new approach in language teaching in context to tourism in India.
The interactions made during the course of the technical sessions and different kinds of other plenary and panel discussions have really added a new dimension in the knowledge of tourism education in India. I wish the conference to be a great success.
The result of this very interactive plenary session was that there were a lot of ideas that came in, and the students really understood the importance of skilling, how they are going to skill. We had an industry partner who actually spoke about how skills could be picked up in smaller bundles or smaller shots, and that is what was required. I think this session was very useful for the students in particular. Tourism essentially is an entrepreneurial sector, and the huge opportunity for tourism graduates to become entrepreneurs.
And it was a very impressive. I got a very much information about the tourism, though I am not from the tourism, but still I enjoyed over here a lot.
Found it very fruitful and effective because there were a galaxy of scholars and a number of faculty members where we shared our ideas, take inputs from them, and it was a very learning experience and a very wonderful experience for a research scholar.
It is communities which are making it different to tourism in this world. New paradigms of tourism is something that is today telling us that communities are the major sustainable development goals that should be taken care of. And with this, in this platform, I think it has been a wonderful day and a wonderful job by the organizers. Thank you so much.
And I have interacted with the foreigners, with the students coming from outside, scholars coming from different countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Japan. They have immensely supported our contribution towards this international conference.
This international conference, a real conference, and its footprints is going to go a long way in promoting the very cause and essence of the tourism department, and I'm sure very soon we are going to see a full-fledged tourism department out here.
It is beneficial to the students. Once the academic program is held, your knowledge increases. This will also motivate us to establish a department of tourism in the Faculty of Commerce. So if the department sends a proposal for creation of a new department of tourism, the university will definitely examine it. We are already running an important course, that is Master of Tourism Administration MT course, which is a degree course, 2-year degree course, and I will definitely support creation of a department of tourism and hospitality in the Aligarh Muslim University.
This was a Ministry of Tourism sponsored international conference, and I must say that when we began the preparations for this conference, we did not even dream that it will turn out to be such a big reality. I am happy to announce that after the closing function of this conference, all the organizing committee members, the advisory committee members are of the same opinion that the conference has met its objectives with which we had set out for. And this is one of the best things that can happen to an event, when the organizers and the participants feel that actually the event has delivered what it was meant to be. The kind of technical session interactions that we've had in the previous 2 days, and of course the panel discussions and the plenary sessions that brought forward exemplary speakers from industry, from academia to express their viewpoints. There were meaty discussions between the students, between the participants and the plenary and the panel speakers. and it was it was a very substantial interaction in terms of exchange of ideas, and what could possibly be enough substance for the policymakers, also for the industry practitioners, and for the academics also, for the academicians also, to ponder upon the possible research areas, what is required today. A large number of young researchers participated here, not only at the PhD level or the postdoctoral fellows, but a large number of PG and undergraduate students also. And the kind of ideas they have come up with are like the keynote speaker, who happens to be a travel journalist from Bangkok, was thoroughly impressed by the ideas that were brought forward by the youngest group, the youngest participants of this conference. And I think that when any event can stimulate or stir the intellect level of the youngsters, it has set the ball rolling in motion. And if this International Tourism Conference, the very first one in AMU on tourism, has set the ball in motion, I think it is more than the objectives achieved, and it feels great to have achieved something which was not even thought of at the outset. And I congratulate all the organizing committee members and the student committee for making this dream turn into a reality.